Celtic civilization stands as one of the most intriguing and influential cultures in the tapestry of European history. To understand the Celts is to embark on a journey through time, tracing the footsteps of a people whose language, art, mythology, and social structures left a profound mark on the continent. The origins of the Celts reach back into the mists of prehistory, arising from the heartlands of Central Europe and eventually spreading across a vast region that stretched from the British Isles to the fringes of Anatolia. The story of the Celts begins during the Late Bronze Age, around 1200 BCE, when a group of Indo-European tribes began to differentiate themselves through unique linguistic and cultural traits. By the Iron Age, roughly 800 BCE, these traits had crystallized into what we recognize as Celtic civilization. The early Celts were not a single unified nation, but rather a loose confederation of tribes connected by language, religious beliefs, artistic styles, and social customs. Their heartland lay in the region known as Hallstatt, in modern-day Austria, where archaeological finds reveal a sophisticated society skilled in metalworking, trade, and warfare. As centuries passed, the Celts expanded their reach. The Latin culture, named after a site in Switzerland, flourished from around 450 BCE and marked the high point of Celtic art and society. The Latin Celts were dynamic traders and formidable warriors. Their settlements, known as oppida, dotted the landscapes of Gaul, Britain, Ireland, and beyond. They ventured as far east as the Balkans and even into Anatolia, where a group known as the Galatians established themselves in what is now Turkey. Despite their wide dispersal, the Celts shared core features that set them apart from their neighbors. At the heart of Celtic society was the clan, a kinship group bound by blood and loyalty. Chiefs and kings ruled these clans, advised by councils of elders and, importantly, by Druids, the priestly class who served as keepers of law, tradition, and spiritual knowledge. The Druids were revered as intermediaries between the people and the gods, presiding over rituals, education, and legal disputes. Celtic religion was deeply animistic, seeing the divine in the natural world. Sacred groves, rivers, and mountains were sites of worship, and the pantheon of Celtic deities was rich and varied. Gods and goddesses often embodied aspects of nature, such as the thunder god Taranis or the river goddess Boann. Rituals involved offerings, feasts, and sometimes sacrifices, all aimed at maintaining harmony between the human and spiritual realms. Art and craftsmanship flourished among the Celts. Their metalwork, especially in gold, bronze, and iron, was renowned for its intricate patterns, swirling motifs, and symbolic designs. These artistic expressions appeared on weapons, jewelry, and everyday objects, reflecting both a love of beauty and a deep symbolic language. The famous torc, a rigid neck ring, became a symbol of status and power. The Celts were also skilled storytellers, and their oral traditions were rich with myths, legends, and heroic tales. Much of this lore survived in later written form, especially in Ireland and Wales, where Christian monks recorded stories of gods, heroes, and magical creatures. Tales like the Táin Bó Cúailnge, the Mabinogion, and the exploits of King Arthur, and the Fianna, echo the values and worldview of the ancient Celts: bravery, honor, wit, and a profound connection to the other world. Economically, the Celts were both farmers and traders. They cultivated grain, raised cattle, and mined precious metals. Their trade networks extended across Europe, exchanging goods such as salt, tin, and textiles. Celtic warriors were both feared and respected, renowned for their courage, ferocity, and distinctive weaponry. They fought with long swords, round shields, and sometimes rode into battle in chariots, striking terror into their adversaries. As the centuries unfolded, the Celts came into contact, and often conflict, with the expanding powers of the Mediterranean world. The Greeks and Romans wrote extensively about the Celts, sometimes admiring their valor and artistry, but often portraying them as barbaric or savage. The reality was far more complex. The Celts were capable of both great violence and great sophistication, and their societies were marked by intricate laws, poetic traditions, and a reverence for learning. The Roman conquest of Gaul in the 1st century BCE marked a turning point in Celtic history. Julius Caesar's campaigns brought much of Western Europe under Roman rule, and the traditional Celtic way of life began to fade in many regions. However, the Celts proved resilient. In the British Isles, especially in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, Celtic culture survived and even thrived, evolving over the centuries and leaving a lasting legacy. The language of the Celts provides a vital link to their past. The Celtic languages form a branch of the Indo-European family and are divided into two main groups, Goidelic, or Gaelic, which includes Irish, Scottish Gaelic, and Manx, and Brythonic, which includes Welsh, Breton, and Cornish. Though many of these languages have faced decline, recent centuries have seen a revival of interest and pride in Celtic linguistic heritage. The legacy of the Celts endures in many forms. Their art, music, and folklore continue to inspire people around the world. Celtic festivals, such as Samhain and Beltane, are still celebrated, often merging ancient customs with modern traditions. The knotwork and spirals of Celtic design appear in jewelry, tattoos, and architecture, while Celtic music, characterized by its haunting melodies and lively rhythms, remains popular and influential. To explore Celtic civilization is to witness the interplay of continuity and change, tradition and innovation. The Celts were not a static people, but rather dynamic and adaptive, able to absorb influences from their neighbors while maintaining a distinct identity. Their societies were both hierarchical and communal, valuing individual heroism as well as collective well-being. One of the most remarkable aspects of Celtic civilization is its relationship with the natural world. The Celts saw themselves as part of a living landscape where every hill, river, and tree had a thread or story. This worldview fostered a sense of respect and stewardship that resonates with modern concerns about the environment. The cycles of the seasons, the phases of the moon, and the rhythms of farming and herding were woven into the fabric of daily life and ritual. Women held a significant place in Celtic society, often enjoying rights and freedoms unusual for their time. They could own property, lead clans, and even fight as warriors. Legendary figures such as Boudica, the warrior queen who led a revolt against Roman rule in Britain, attest to the power and agency of Celtic women. The Celts were also renowned for their hospitality and love of feasting. Gatherings were occasions for storytelling, music, and the forging of alliances. The communal sharing of food and drink reinforced bonds within and between clans, and the ritual of the feast was central to both social and religious life. Despite the challenges of conquest, assimilation, and cultural change, the spirit of the Celts has endured. In the landscapes of Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Brittany, Cornwall, and the Isle of Man, echoes of the old ways can still be found. In place names, folk customs, and the enduring sense of identity, modern Celtic nations celebrate their heritage through festivals, language revival, and the preservation of traditional arts. The fascination with Celtic civilization extends far beyond the countries where their descendants live. Across the world, people are drawn to the mystery and romance of the Celts, their enigmatic symbols, their tales of magic and heroism, and their vision of a world alive with meaning. Scholars continue to uncover new insights into Celtic society through archaeology, linguistics, and comparative mythology, revealing a culture that was at once deeply rooted and remarkably open to the wider world. In sum, Celtic civilization offers a window into a rich and complex world, a world of warriors and poets, druids and craftsmen, farmers and traders. It is a world where the boundaries between this life and the other world are thin, where the past is never far from the present, and where the human spirit finds expression in art, story, and song. The legacy of the Celts is not just a matter of history, but a living tradition that continues to inspire and challenge us today. As we reflect on the journey of the Celts, from their ancient origins to their enduring influence, we are reminded of the power of culture to shape identity and connect people across time and space. The Celts teach us that civilization is not only measured in monuments and empires, but also in the stories we tell, the values we uphold, and the ways we find meaning in the world around us. Their civilization, though often overshadowed by the more centralized empires of Rome and Greece, holds lessons in resilience, creativity, and the enduring strength of community. Whether through the haunting strains of a Celtic harp, the intricate patterns of a carved stone, or the whispered tales of heroes long past, the spirit of the Celts lives on, inviting us to explore, to imagine, and to celebrate the diversity and richness of human culture.